Lovely. So welcome to Creating a Steady Stream of Coaching Clients. I'm an award-winning, yes, you heard me correctly, award-winning NLP master trainer and breakthrough coach, and mostly thanks to my lovely students who actually nominated me for and Nick should include him as well, and me for the award. So we only won because of you, so thank you very much. And I specialise in creating world-class breakthrough coaches through my academy, helping them have world-class careers by building business and speaker skills. And I do that by teaching to NLP master prac level, so prac level and master prac level, and creating on-demand digital programs, group coaching programs, and one-to-one mentoring sessions, of course, as well as kind of masterclasses and whatever else we can share with you that would be helpful to you. I've had the most incredible career, and that's not to boast, I just mean I've had the most fun that I can think of. And when I reflect back on my career, I know that in social media we're bombarded with all about make money, make money, make money. And whilst I have had an amazing lucrative career, those aren't the memories that I have. The money is just helpful. Being a coach has been the absolute most amazing thing, and it's opened doors to places that I just couldn't have imagined having those doors opened in any other way. It's a career like no other. Even when you add training into it, you know, how many of you, you know, if you've had 9-to-5 jobs, leave the office with an applause, right, for what you've done? I mean, there's just nothing like it. Is, you know, making an obvious difference to people, whether that's individually or in a group. If you become sort of addicted to that and sharing what you've learned that's helped you with other people, it's just, there's nothing like it. So I've just had the best time, connected with the most amazing people, and now in my lofty age I really enjoy sharing that and helping other people have the similar career, or, you know, whatever kind of career they want to have. And one of the things that really galls me and frustrates me hugely when I see these lovely students that we have that are all heart, and they care so much about being a great coach that they put all of their effort and focus into being a great coach and learning more and holding themselves back until they're really, really good, because they wouldn't want to shortchange anybody, and they wouldn't want to do a bad job, and they wouldn't want to do it wrong, and they wouldn't want to, you know, start before they're ready. And at the same time, being in the position in the industry that I'm in, I see a hell of a lot of overconfident, really not so experienced and great coaches, and with not so great hearts, going out there and making loads of money. And if you think about the market, I would rather you were in it than them. You know, I would, at least you'd rather be in it with them, because the world needs more coaches who really care and who are lovely and who can do a world-class job. So that requires me to kind of, you know, put a fire under your bums a little bit and say, right, okay, you are good enough. Trust me. I was absolutely shocking when I started. When I look back, I cringe. You know, the kinds of sessions that I used to do and what I used to think was good, and, you know, but I do that 6 months ago. I look at the kind of coach I was 6 months ago and think, oh, crikey, I can't believe I didn't know that. So that is just something you're going to have to get used to. You're always going to look back and think, oh, I wasn't as good 6 months ago. Great. At least you didn't wait, because I'm 20 years in and I'm still thinking, oh, I'm better today than I was yesterday. But I only got that good because of all the work that I did with clients. So there is a certain expectation that you're just going to have to get going wherever you are now. Don't do more, you know, don't do more modalities, you know, learn more tools, learn more techniques. You're fine. Let's just get you making money now. You can always do that if you want to, for the fun of it later, or if there's something in particular that you want to learn to help your particular client. So that is my big sort of bugbear, as it were, that's kind of lit a fire under my bottom to really push the kind of business side of things, especially to my students, because I care a lot about my students, but to coaches out there that are similar to you, and that, you know, you love people and you love what you do and you really want to help. So the key thing is, if you do have a big heart and you do want to be a coach, you're going to need money if you want to stay being a coach. And I mean coach, therapist, consultant, anybody who sells their own sort of personal services to an audience, anybody, even personal trainer, it would kind of fit into that remit. But sales and marketing, the way that it's kind of offered to us in our sort of daily lives, it always seems a little bit like getting, not giving. So it's all, you know, it feels at odds with your love of giving and helping. Sales and marketing seems like I need to go out there and make people buy from me and take from them. And it can feel like that at the beginning. And I want to show you that actually it isn't that way at all. That actually is about you getting in front of those people who need you before some less scrupulous people get in front of them, or some slicker salespeople but less good coaches get in front of them. So I really want you to have the competitive edge and to get out there and have this wonderfully relaxed way of attracting clients into your business that you don't have to think about, that just works in the background, that is not tech orientated. So for those of you thinking, oh, ClickFunnels, you don't have to worry about the tech so much. There is a little bit of tech if you want to make it easier, but it's not extensive tech and it's not expensive tech, right? And there's as much tech as you want. My point is on the strategy and some really simple sort of home truths that you need to remember if you want to get this right, and if you want it to be a no-brainer, and if you want to be able to look at the calendar and see clients booked in rather than that empty tumbleweed that creates nauseating anxiety because you've got to pay your bills. So there's two things that I want to show you today that are going to, I think, make your life a lot easier. One is the proximity pyramid. It's just a lovely way of being able to think about your business and what it does, because I know you care about people. And one of the worst things is saying to yourself, right, well, in order to stay a coach, I've got to charge this much money per hour for my sessions. But the people that I want to help don't necessarily have that much money. So what do? Do I lower my prices and not be able to pay my bills? Or do I just work 24 hours a day? Or do I just accept that people can't get the help that they need? So the proximity pyramid kind of answers those questions and allows you to help everybody that you want to help, regardless of their financial background. And number two is the sales funnel. Now, just feel in, when I talk about a sales funnel, what happens in your stomach? Does anybody get a reaction, like a visceral reaction to that? Oh, we've got to do your sales funnel, Anyone get a visceral reaction, or is everyone excited and wants to know all about it? I had this conversation with a kind of a spirituality kind of coach the other day, and literally she's like I can't, because it just feels so at odds with that sense of giving and sharing and everything. But I'm going to show you that's not the case. Okay, I promise. I'm going to show you that's not the case, and that you won't be heaving. It is literally, sales funnel is literally just a simple way to keep the clients coming. Okay, which you need, right? Nauseating or otherwise, you need to know a way. I just want to show you a joyful way to do it. All right. So full disclosure, obviously, I run a group coaching program called Business Mastery for Coaches, and it starts on the 28th of June. The lunchtime session is 12 to 1:30. I have a few spaces left on that. And I know some of you are considering doing it. And I hope today will give you a sort of sense of what you'll get. I'll give you a sense today of what you would get from doing that 12-week program and help you make that decision, but also give you a sense of where we are in the program. Obviously, I want you to join me on the group program because I want to be able to help you more directly than I can today, more one-on-one. You do get the on-demand digital training, which is pretty much everything. It's like everything that you need to know in that digital program. That's yours forever. And you'll also get access to me in between group coaching sessions as well via WhatsApp. So you can ask me any questions that you want in between and long after, to be honest. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll just help you. So that's what you get from the group program. Now, if you can't afford the group program, then just consider getting the on-demand program. If you can't afford that, there's also a free trial of it, which contains how to create the vision for your business, but also how to decide whether or not to niche and what your niche might be. But also, more important than niche, is to discover who you are as a coach. So who you actually are and what is your special gift and quality that you bring to everything that you do that makes you sort of different. So not your USP, because that's boring business talk, but actually your special magical elixir that you would do, whether you were, a bin man or a landscape gardener or renovating properties or, a PR consultant. Whatever you did, there would be something special about you that would make that you would bring to that job. So that's what your niche, and that's covered. And also there's a little Brucey bonus in there, which is your 30-second introduction. This could be a bit more than 30 seconds, but ultimately it's a template for you to be able to say, this is what I do, this is who I do it for, this is how I do it, and if I was doing it for you, this is how I would do, this is how I'd help you. It's brilliant for making a succinct introduction at a BNI networking, or just to a client, or just to a group of people, and you can tailor it to whoever you're speaking to and whatever particular thing you're working on at the time. So thoroughly recommend, totally free. Go and have a look at that. In the group program, I just want to show you where this sits. So in the group program, we've done that week 3, customer avatar, who you actually want to work with, who do you want to talk to? And then week 4 is identify their pain points. So the people that you're talking to, what is it that they actually want from you? What do they want solved? You're talking about menopause earlier. Great. Well, what kinds of things do those people suffering need from you? And then how can you speak to those people using those pain points? What we're going to look at is week 5 and 6. Obviously, there's parts of weeks 5 and 6. There's more in the group program, but create your offerings and the proximity pyramid. Create a sales funnel, the pathway for your customers. And then we go on week 7, creating the content for your funnel, looking at your limiting beliefs around money, how to price yourself, how to put together whatever marketing strategy that you want with joy, because that's the only thing that matters, is that you're enjoying it and that it works. We're also going to consider your human design and how that should affect your marketing strategy as well. Massively important if you haven't learned about human design. I'll also include a link to that in the email. It's free to get your report so you can understand it. And then really importantly, teaching about sales, how to have conversations, how that you already as a coach know how to have sales conversations. You do it all the time, but how to think of it differently. And also the big mistake that all coaches make is that they don't ask for the sale in the discovery session. So when they do free consultations or free discovery sessions, you go, great, well, I'll send all the prices and I'll send all that over and you can make a decision later. No, you want to get the date, you want to get that, you want to get the phone number, you want to get that in the moment, because that's when you can deal with any kind of objections or issues or complications. You can negotiate, you could do whatever you want to do, but you need to do it in front of the person. And that requires a little bit of confidence, and I'll show you how to do it. And managing objections is the funnest thing ever. So, because they're not really objections, they're limiting beliefs. And who's great at doing limiting beliefs? You are. So, and the fact that somebody has shown up to a discovery session presupposes they're quite interested in discovering what you do and how much you charge and whether or not you want to work for them. And the saddest thing in the whole world is when you do an amazing discovery session, the person's like, wow, that was really amazing. That was really amazing. And you say, great, well, bye. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, I don't suppose she did want to work with me really, because I'm nothing really, and I probably wouldn't make a very good client. And why would she want to work with me anyway? Oh. And your poor client goes away feeling like you don't want to work with them, because why would you? And you just dismissed them instead of saying, loved working with you, I love talking to you, I really want to help you, I know what we could do, I'm really excited, if you want to work with me, I'm in. Yeah, so it's important that you close the deal. And also, if you want to make more money or expand over time, there's a session on scaling and diversifying, plus a Brucey bonus of how to create a 90-minute workshop that will kind of sell all of your bits and bobses. So that's an example. I'll put that in the, I will put the, what's the word, second sales pitch, that's in the free trial. Please hold corner. There's some freaky stuff going on computer wise today. The one I've got an image, it's like very strange. I've got an image that I want to show you that literally just keeps disappearing. So, not being an expert in tech, I'm just going to have to figure it out for a second.
It's all sounding really good so far though, Jess. Anyway,
thanks, Amy.
Yeah,
thanks, babes. It's honestly, I did a computer science degree. That was a good investment, wasn't it? Eh? That was coming in handy now, isn't it? Oh, anyway. Right, so let's think about our proximity pyramid. That's the first thing that we're going to look at. And what I want you to think about, actually, that was in there, just not the. For some reason, I'm going to have to open that picture on its own. That's fine. The anticipation that I'm creating, it's not intentional. Let's go. Okay, where is it? Okay, well, I've got the picture. Worst case scenario, I've got the picture. I just need to put it in there. All right, let me share my screen again. All right, now who's heard Gabor Mate? He's not been living under a rock for the last 10 years. Somewhere his name's probably cropped up, even if you've not taken a huge amount of notice. Certainly, if you know me, you'll have heard me talk about him at some point. Now, love Gabor. think he's brilliant. For anyone into human design, he's a line 6, published his first book at 55. His massive success started in his 3rd stage of his life. So if you haven't hit your 3rd stage as a line 6, well, nor did Gabor until he was 55. And it all went mental for him after that. So the thing about Gabor Maté, if we use him as a model, first of all, how much would you expect him to charge for a one-to-one session? Any ideas? Any ideas? Let's see what people say in the chat. Thousands, yeah. Why would you think thousands? Any idea?
I've seen him working at the way he works, and just his expertise and his knowledge and his approach.
Great. Now, I've seen in the average master prac, I've seen equally fast and deep transformations, with students. And so is what he does in an hour or two with you, is it worth more because he's Gabor Maté? If the same result happens, that you get this lovely deep shift, technically is what he does worth thousands?
I think it's that as an element of personal brand, isn't it?
You're paying for his name. If you can get the same thing via somebody else,
that's right,
you charges half the price, then with the best will in the world, why would you not go for somebody who charges half the price, particularly at the time when we're all a little strapped for cash?
That's right. So you can get any handbag to carry your stuff around. Some people want a 15-gram bag, right, to carry their stuff around. And
if you want to go for a name, he is the name to go for.
He is the name, absolutely.
If you're happy with the supermarket brand, then,
That's it. Yeah, it does the job. The same date bees, they do the job, don't they? But as Rory, the marketing expert, says, he's like, no, brand things do taste better, and brand name medicine works faster psychologically.
Yeah.
So
Placebo,
that's it. So there's a sense of, if I need Gabor Maté to help me, fine, it might be worth it to you. And if you didn't know anybody that could do those sorts of shifts for you, then you might think, I have to pay thousands for it. But what drives the price of Gabor Maté's sessions is not the content of them, because if that was the case, you have to agree that you're all worth thousands then, because he's not doing anything different. He's doing the same sorts of things. He might do it in a different style. I think he uses psilocybin or whatever to do it. We do not. So if he's worth thousands, you're worth thousands. So let's accept that. But what drives the price for him is that he has millions of people wanting his services, obviously, and he could basically probably charge whatever he wants. And in fact, he actually doesn't do one-to-one sessions. But our expectation is that if he did, it would be thousands. Now, if you couldn't afford to work with him one-on-one and you didn't know it, you didn't know the modalities that you know, what could you do to get close to his expertise, to get some of his magical elixir all over you? What could you do? What else would he do? Ideas?
Teach.
So he teaches students, potentially, What else could he do? So he could teach you how to do it. What else could he do?
Well, you emulate what he does so that you can do it.
And how would you find out how he does what he does? How do you get close to him?
Read his books, go to his lectures, his demos,
Brilliant. So any information that's on the internet is, that might be free. So you might follow an Instagram page that, posts videos of him. You might listen to podcasts, any podcast he's on. You might think, oh, great, I'll go and listen to every drop of wisdom that comes out of his mouth. Or you might watch the documentary that he made, the wisdom of trauma, and you might pay a little bit for that documentary to watch him at work and to hear what he has to say and to just get some of his wisdom. And the book, of course, that's brilliant. And instead of one-to-ones, he actually does retreats. He does a 6-day, I feel like a salesperson, he does a 6-day retreat with psilocybin and co-facilitators and whatever, but it's 6-day retreat, and he charges $6,500 per person, and he has 23 people at those retreats, and he turns up for about 4 hours a day. He works harder than most sort of gurus, I think, on those sorts of programs. He's there for a lot of it. So his hourly rate is about $4,000, I worked out, right? Not bad for an hourly rate for someone in, I think, is he 70 odd now? So not bad at all. So if he wanted to work one-on-one, he could realistically, that's his hourly rate now. So I'm $4,000 an hour. Yeah, come on my retreat and you'll get me £6,500 for 6 whole days. If you can't afford the $4,000 an hour. And if you can't afford the retreat, what could you do? You could go to a conference. He's doing a conference in London. For those of you that want to know, I should be an affiliate. And he's about £80 to go and watch him for a few hours with, I think it's 3,000 other people. But you'll get there, you'll see his face, you'll smell his sweat, you'll get close to the genius. And that's only £80. And then if you want to buy his book, it's about £15, something like that. Yeah. And if you want to just watch his, videos all over YouTube and Instagram and everything, free. Now, when I talk about the proximity pyramid, do you start to see what I'm saying? Does it start to seem a little bit obvious now? So if I want to get close to Lucinda, because I think Lucinda has amazing wisdom and amazing stuff that she's offering, but she tells me her rates are £200 an hour, and I'm thinking, I don't know that I could afford £200 an hour. What else do you do? Like, how could I get close to that genius, close to that wisdom that's not £200 an hour? But maybe do you do any group coaching? Do you do anything that's like maybe more sort of like £50 an hour? Like I could get close to you maybe, but for £50 an hour. And if not that, do you do any sort of workshops, like morning workshops for 20 quid, 30 quid that I could just come along to with lots of other people, admittedly, but I could ask my question in the chat? And have you written anything that I could buy? Have you got a YouTube channel I can follow? Yes. So now when you think about the only reason that you struggle and you sit there and you think, right, I've got to sell my coaching clients, think of it like you have a shop. You open a shop on the high street, and each day you can only spend the time, you've only got the time to bake 4 beautiful artisanal cakes. You've only got the time to create these artistic, absolute beautiful things. They only last a day. If you don't sell them on the day, they're gone. And people walk in your shop all day and they go, oh, stunning cakes. And you're like, oh, yes, they are. And they say, gosh, how much are they? And you say, well, £500 each. Oh, you got anything cheaper? Well, no, I make artisanal cakes. Okay, well, thanks. And they go to the bakery and they go and get something less nice, but it's cheaper. Maybe they save up for an artisanal cake. Maybe they tell other people about your artisanal cakes. Yes, great. That would be brilliant. But you're still sitting there in a shop with your 4 cakes trying to sell them. That is the essence of only selling coaching. Yeah, you're sitting there in your office. These are my slots that I've got open. If I don't sell them, they're gone forever. So what do I do? Yeah. Whereas if you have a shop where there's lots of other things in there, some people will buy the artisanal cakes. Some people will just buy a pack of buns and leave. Yeah. But they'll still have something of yours that will be baked with your loving heart. Yeah. And then you don't have to worry so much that those 4 artisanal cakes aren't going to get eaten. You could even have, pictures of the artisanal cakes and focus on the bulk of what sells, right, within your marketplace. Think Knightsbridge, a shop there, what you might be able to sell there versus a shop on, the average high street. So your market, where you are, what you're selling and who you're selling it to will dictate your prices to a certain degree. But ultimately, you've got to have something else. You've got to have some proximity that allows people who don't have the money come and get your stuff, rather than you say, well, I've got these 4 artisanal cakes, I might as well get rid of them. I suppose I might as well sell them for a £5. Now you've got to go back to doing the bins because you can't be an artisanal baker if you sell your cakes for £5. So this is the problem that I'm trying to solve for you, is think, right, how can I give away? You're all heart. We know I care. You care. I care. Instead of turning people away because they can't afford you, what are you going to give them? What are you going to create for them that they could have for less? And you might find that actually you hit a vein of actually everybody wants this, and that's all you're selling from that point on. You still coach. Everything that you do is coaching. You coach your friends. I know you do. It's something that you can't not do. So that's Gabor Mate's pyramid of proximity. Now, what does your pyramid look like? I'm just going to show you the picture that I've created, just so you can get a visual of what I mean. Everybody see that? So your proximity pyramid, you work out, right, there's my coaching one-to-one. That is my platinum level service. Of course, you wouldn't expect to have a one-on-one with Gabor. You wouldn't, if you phoned him up and he said, well, I'm £4,000 an hour, you wouldn't be like, oh, how outrageous, conceited. I mean, who does he think he is charging £4,000? You would just be like, well, yeah, fair enough. It's one-on-one with you and there is only one of you. So you can charge whatever you damn well like, but I can't afford you. Rather than you lower your prices, what could I have? Yeah. You would never, ever think Gabor Maté was outrageous for charging that much money. Well, you might, but how does he distinguish who he helps and who he doesn't? So what's your platinum level service? Is it the one-to-ones? If it is, what's your second level, your gold standard? Is it you and a group coaching program with, a very small amount of people? Or is it a retreat? Is it a small workshop? What is it for you? What's that next level thing? And then what's the one after that? So it's not maybe the £6,500 retreat. Maybe it's the £80 a person conference, but there's a lot more people there. So you put on a workshop for all these people. Now, any of you that are thinking, oh God, workshops, I can't do workshops. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You'll be brilliant. And you might be terrible to begin with, but you'll be fine and you'll be great. Just focus on the gifts that you want to share and you'll be fine. And there is obviously so much that you can learn along the way, but get on with it. Don't wait. So doing your workshops, and then what's your fourth level? Now, this is going to be kind of hopefully a little bit more passive by this point. So perhaps your books, your ebooks, your PDFs, your guides, ultimately think of it like when you're coaching, when you repeat yourself over and over about the same things, when you feel like you're teaching, not coaching, because you've got to tell them about certain things that they don't know about. That is your first mini course or your first ebook, something that you could then send to people who are paying one-to-one, like, oh, make sure you read this before you come because I don't have to repeat myself. So for example, my other hat, obviously, I'm a relationship breakthrough coach, and I help couples to heal their childhood wounds, their relationship blueprints, and create emotional intimacy. Well, a lot of that requires them understanding some concepts. I can sit there, £175 an hour and explain it to them at their expense, or I can create some ebooks and guides and send them to them to explain it all, which then, weirdly enough, become free workshops or free mini courses on, look, here's the stuff you need to know about your relationship dynamic. I will help you heal your blueprint when you come to me. I will diagnose your particular dynamic and tell you what you need to do. So that's the level, all the information that you wish your clients would know before they come to you, you can wrap up in either paid or cheap or free materials. Yeah, makes sense. And as long as you have another layer, so you have like the book, for example, might be, okay, that's paid, but it's not very expensive. And then everything else under that is free. And you want to give away as much as you can, not because you care, because that's nice too, but because there's some weird cosmic thing that rewards you. And there's this kind of vein of marketing and sales, just like, don't give away anything because people don't value what they don't pay for. But if you've ever been broke and someone's given you something, I would beg to differ. People value what they value, right? And you can give somebody something that's valuable to them and it's priceless, right? If they don't pay for it. And you can give something that's valuable to somebody who doesn't appreciate it and it's worthless. So it's all about who's receiving it. And if you want to give away things, you think, okay, what's my expertise and what's stuff that I just think people should know before they come and get my expertise? Or what's a bit of my expertise that I don't mind sharing? And then if they want, so for me, my proximity pyramid is if you want one-on-one help, obviously that's a premium. I don't have very much time. If you come on a group coaching program with me, I can give you so much help, like in little bits all through the week, as well as the session, because in little bits I can do that because that's what my life looks like. Also, there's a digital program because I don't want to spend all your time explaining stuff. I want you to have that forever and dip in and out of it for, whenever you need it. And then the time spent with me, well, let's look on limiting beliefs, because that's my expertise, is finding and removing limiting beliefs. So that's what somebody would be paying for. That's what the time spent with me would be good doing. So have a think, start thinking, like in the chat, so that we can give a couple of minutes to this. What is your first level? Let's have a think. What's your first level? What's your platinum level service? The most time cost to you, and therefore should be the most amount of money that you're charging. Let's have a little look at what we've got. Yeah, one-to-ones. Great. Is that going to be true for most people? Yeah. Yeah, qualifications. Yeah, because that's, I would say, obviously for qualifications, most people don't assume that they could have a one-on-one teaching, but I've taught practitioner level one-on-one before. And to someone who didn't want to, because of their professional standing, they didn't want to join a group with everybody else because people always thought they knew NLP and they didn't. So they kind of wanted to come along and learn it privately without sort of letting everybody else know that they were a student. You might be a celebrity and not want to join a group and want some sort of one-on-one training. So if you're good at giving qualifications, one-on-one might be your platinum level, and then your teaching qualification might be the next level down. One-to-one, yeah, lovely. So yeah, one-to-one coaching, and then level 2, Gita, would be the 12-week program, I reckon, because one-on-one with you should be the absolute. I mean, if you need the analogy, use a Michelin star chef or Gabor Mate. Use an analogy that helps you to put someone else in that position where, of course, you would expect to, if a Michelin star chef came to your house and cooked you a meal, of course, that would be the absolute platinum standard. If you went to his restaurant and sat at the chef's table, that would be the next level down. Because, you've gone to him and there's other people, there's other chef's tables or there's other people in the restaurant. What's the next level? What's the next level? What's the next level? Good. So you got your level 1. What's your level 2? That's usually a little bit easier. You've got level 1, one-to-one, level 2. Does anybody not have a clue and need me to help them? Hi, AJ, by the way. Go on, Emma.
Jess, I was just going to say, I think what this has made me think about in our business is almost doing this triangle. What is it now? And then also, what do we want it to be? Because I feel like where we are now isn't necessarily where we want to be. So I guess it's acknowledging that and then thinking about, so I think that's some work that we need to do.
If it's very much easier to start from scratch than it is to try and fit an existing model in.
Yes. Yeah.
So if necessary, just for the exercise, scrap what you've already got. Imagine that you clear the decks, because it's not gone anywhere.
Yeah.
The decks. And if you offer more than one thing, so for example, if you've got coaching and training and corporate, they are three things.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you is, how does this work from a B2B perspective? Yeah.
So again, when it's business to business, it's not the business that you're selling to, it's whoever's in that's making decisions. So that person just becomes your customer avatar.
Nice.
So I was always in the beginning selling to learning and development managers, right? So L&D.
Yeah.
Those were the people that I wanted to to kind of target and say, hey, I'm really good, and I'll help you with your business needs and your training needs and everything else. Those were always the people that I was trying to talk to at the beginning, from a training perspective, not a coaching perspective. And from a coaching perspective, often I would target people. Not target sounds like I actually had a plan back then, but I would want to work with people who perhaps were senior management. They would also then want me to come in and do more, work in the organisation. So whoever, you've got to work out, I would say start with one thing to get the process. So if it's your coaching, if it's your training, pick one aspect of what you do, really. Otherwise you can, because even in coaching, you can have 3 different customer avatars, people that you're trying to talk to. If you are coaching the menopause, for example, coaching people through the menopause, you're probably looking at a very simple target market, but, customer avatar. But you also might be looking to talk to people who run wellness sessions in organizations, and they're not going to necessarily you're not going to be able to speak to them in the same way, because they're not necessarily the one with the problem. So they won't necessarily relate to you. They've got a different problem to solve. So when we look at the customer avatar, what we're looking at is, who are we speaking to? Who are we trying to speak to? Because then we need to work out, well, what kind of problems do they need solving? We'll talk to those people about those problems and how we can solve them, because that's going to get them to come and get more things from us, as it were. So that will shape, for example, the book that you write. Who are you writing that book for? Gabor could have written it for coaches and therapists, or he could have said, right, I'm going to write this for the end user. Quite a different book. He probably just wrote what he knew and didn't really care about who's going to read it. I'm sure if I'm sure he would have thought about it, because there'd be 2 very different styles of book, I'm sure. So you want to think about who's coming to you and what they might be able to afford. What's the pyramid is for, is what could they afford, and create something for them at their affordability rate. And then and do this. Wipe the decks, clear the decks of all the stuff you've already done. Start from scratch. What would it look like? So if your learning and development manager comes to you and says, I've got a wellness thing to put on, I do not even know where to start with anything, right? That's my problem. Oh, cool. Well, I could give you some one-to-one coaching, or I could give you a full program, but you don't even know if you need that yet, and you maybe not be able to get the budget for that. So here's some stuff to get the budget. Here's some information that I've written. Here's some posts that I've done that might give you some hints and tips for free. And then they come back later going, oh, it was so helpful. Thank you. I've got the budget now. Can we do something else? So always have something to give to people within your customer base. Yeah. Is that helpful?
Really great. Thank you.
And then as you do it, you might kind of, oh, we've already got one of those. That can go in. And that might be used over there. So it's not that nothing's wasted. Nothing's wasted. But do that for coaching and then do it for the training and look at them as separate things. Obviously, they will cross over at some point as well, obviously. All right. So everybody got their level 2. Let's have a look. Yeah. Group coaching about a common theme. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Group coaching around a common theme. Really, really good. You could even then say, well, okay, well, I'll do some posts about that, some sort of kind of quick tips or what is imposter syndrome. Sometimes you have to educate your market as to what actually you're talking about. What is NLP? Yeah, what is it? How do I know if I even want to do it if I don't know what it is? So it could be that you actually think, right, what do women know about the menopause? Do they even know what the symptoms are? Would they even know they had the problem that I can help them with? Maybe I could put some things out there for free that would educate them to the fact that actually those symptoms might be the menopause and that there is a solution out there. That might help. So there's so much you can do for that little person who's sitting there with a problem they don't know how to solve, or they don't even know what's causing it, that you do understand and that you could help with. There's so much you could help. Brilliant. So, oh, Sophie. Is that my Sophie or different Sophie? So level 1 book workshops, level 2 group coaching, I think. Okay, yeah, you've gone the other way. Yeah. Level 1 coaching retreat. Yes, it is your Sophie. Okay, good. Very good. Hello, Sophie. Lovely. So exactly that. So you've got your layers, and then at the bottom of that pyramid, think about, there's usually one platform that you don't hate as much as the others. Like if you're not a social media, I cannot bear it. I just can't bear it. I'll doom scroll on Instagram till the cows come home, watching all these lovely people doing little skits and cats flying off wardrobes. I'll watch that to the end of time. But the thought of actually doing a post on Instagram, I don't want to do that. So you can still have a successful business and not have to post on social media. I'm telling you now, you don't have to do that. And I'm starting to come around to the idea of, okay, well, maybe I might find a way to enjoy it. I think there's probably a way that I could enjoy it. It's definitely easier than sort of, other methods. But that last little layer, if you think about it more in terms of, there are so many people out there that can't afford coaching, that are in a really bad place, that is where they're going to go. That is, social media is where they're going to go for help. And if you look at it more like, well, actually, it's not about me posting on social media and me showing all about, showing off. It's actually like, there is some people out there that really need what I know. And even if it's just a little, motivational post saying, don't give up, please don't give up, that might change somebody's life. So by looking at it in a different way, it becomes easier to do. And if you look at your values as a coach, it's usually about sharing, caring, giving, helping. And if you can find a way to do that through the free avenues like YouTube and Instagram, and that's your ethos through it, is I'm there to help and I'm not there to get anything. I'm just there to share what I know. Then much like we did through the pandemic, when we just said, right, lockdowns happened, crap, everybody's in a, very scared state. Let's just make everything free. Let's just give everything away and help as many people as we can. And then suddenly we're inundated with requests for work. So it was kind of one of those lovely moments of when we actually naturally just wanted to give everything away and help people. It was a success, essentially, weirdly and ironically. But I've always given away as much as I possibly can and still carry on being a coach. I don't want to have to be a bin man and coach on my weekends, although it'd make me terribly fit, which would probably be great. And you're done quite early in the morning. So maybe it's a great idea. Maybe I could do both and a public service at the same time. Right, let's see what we've got. Oh, videos on Insta. Yeah, it's brilliant. Okay, so does your proximity pyramid make sense? Is everybody kind of like, oh, actually, I appreciate, yes, me sitting there trying to sell 4 sessions a day of coaching doesn't make any sense. I need to think of other things people can afford. Yeah. Rather than you having to give away all of your coaching or lower your rates to a level you can't afford to live with. Yeah. Good. All right. Here we go. Right. Now, the sales funnel. All right. Now, what a sales funnel is essentially just a way of being able to tell the entire world that you exist, not the entire world, if you don't want the entire world to know, telling the people that you care about helping, the people that are right for you to help, the people that are, want you to help them, that you exist, and that the problems that they're having, you have the solution to, or you can help them solve, and create a lovely, effortless pathway for those people, like follow a trail of breadcrumbs from, oh, that was very tasty, I think I'll have another one. And then follow all those breadcrumbs until they get to perhaps bigger and bigger breadcrumbs. Oh, and then that breadcrumb you have to pay for. Oh, that's all right. And then the next breadcrumb, that breadcrumb you have to pay a bit more for. That's all right. And they come all the way into, okay, would you like to actually have some one-to-one coaching with me? Oh, I'd love that. So the whole point is that you want to have a method of turning strangers into clients. And because not all of the people that you speak to want to be clients, you have to talk to a lot of people, of which some will want to follow you perhaps on Instagram or LinkedIn or somewhere. And of those, some will want to come to a workshop or watch a recording, download an ebook. Some will want to come to a live workshop. Some of those will want to come to a group coaching program. Some of those might want to be one-to-one clients, assuming that they can afford you, obviously. Yeah. Or see the value enough to find the money. Make sense? Okay. Now, the reason that we create a system is because you don't want to have to think about selling and marketing. You just want to coach, don't you? You just want to share. You just want to do what you do. Well, I want that for you as well, because the moment that you see that you've got empty slots to fill, you're going to stress out. And so what you need to know is I do X number of these and I get Y number of clients. So ultimately you'll need to find something, whether it's perhaps you do, I've got it down now to I need to do kind of one free workshop every few months, and I'll fill my client roster for the next 3 months. Yeah. So if every 3 months I do a free, and that's because I've honed it. It might have, during the pandemic, I was doing a live Time to Thrive webinar for 90 minutes or so, or 2 hours usually, every week. I think it was a Tuesday night or Wednesday night or something. I was doing one of those every week. And just from that, I would fill all of my free discovery sessions and all of our free foundation courses. And from just that, all of my client slots would fill up and all of our NLP practice slots would fill up. So one 90-minute giving away what I know, answering questions. And then I didn't have to think about anything else. I didn't have to think about whether, if I was looking at my number of people on my Eventbrite, how many people are coming to my free foundation. I had a rough idea of how many people I'd need to come to that in order to fill my NLP slots. But I knew that if I just did my weekly live, posted about it twice, LinkedIn, the day before and the morning of, people would come and I would fill everything else. It was a no-brainer. It was so nice because I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to look at my stats and go, oh God, I haven't got enough people coming. I would no, I've done my live. I know that I'll get the slots filled, and I didn't stress. And it was really, really nice. And now I have a similar, I don't do the lives anymore. Now I've got a slightly different strategy because I'm not doing prep courses because I'm still technically on maternity leave. I'm just doing coaching. And if I do one webinar, like a general webinar, not a business one, but general one, I'll fill up my client roster for another 3 months, of one-to-one clients, and also get referrals as well. Okay, so as you go on, you tend to get more referrals. So that's why you have a sales funnel. So as kind of nauseating as it might be to set it up, it is useful because once you've set it up, you don't have to think about it. You just get better at each stage. So just to give you a sense of what it looks like. So there's 3 stages: awareness, consideration, and decision. Obviously, I'm going to go through this fast because this is only a short webinar. You can go back over this and digest it a little bit slower later on. The first stage is awareness. People can't sign up to you as a client if they don't know you exist. So let's assume that you've got to go out to the market. You've got to tell people that you exist to find those people who really need you. Where are those, menopausal women at? Where are they? Where do they live? What are they doing? And is there a way that I can get better at finding them? Or can I just get my megaphone and walk the streets to begin with and just shout and let people, everyone know? And over time, I'll start realizing, oh, they're more over here. I'll go down these streets because that's where they're at. So you'll get better at finding those people, but you still need some kind of megaphone. You still need some way of letting people know that you exist. You have all been in sales funnels multiple times, every time that you've hit a follow after watching an Instagram reel. Everyone done that? Or a Facebook, page or whatever, a post, and you've gone, oh yeah, follow, like. Yeah, everyone done that? Has anybody subscribed to a mailing list in order to get a free ebook? Anyone done that? Something similar? Great, you're in a funnel. You're in a funnel. They found you and then they grabbed you and said, hey, you're my person. I'm gonna nurture you now and see if you're really my sort of person or whether you're just slightly my person. Yeah, but I've got you now. I've got you in my followers, or I've got you on my platform, I've got you on my email list. Now I can talk to you a little bit more about whether this might actually be something useful for you. Has anybody followed an Instagram reel and then 6 reels later you realize, oh yeah, that's not really what I'm into. It was a good reel, but it just wasn't for me. There was one guy who did a silent video about how kids acted when he walked through a door and hit the door, and it was like how teenagers would act in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and stuff, and the 2000s, whatever. And I thought it was so hilarious. I followed it and I didn't realize that he's like Spanish speaking, and none of his further reels I would be able to understand, and they weren't all comedy, and it was kind of very clear that was hilarious, but it was a one-off. I'm not really his target market. That can happen. That's fine. I'm one of the little things in his funnel that didn't make it through. Okay, whatever his funnel was. But you will attract those people that every time you put out a morsel, they're like, oh yum, I want more. And then when they're on your email list, you're going to perhaps move to something like the consideration stage, which is sending out invitations to a workshop where you're going to deep dive onto the symptoms of menopause and how you can deal with them. Or I might be sort of, come to my workshop where I'll explain, relationship dynamics, or, why your partner's such a dick, I'll explain it to you, and then it will make so much sense and you'll have more compassion for them. Something like that. Yeah. And then the people that are interested will be like, oh God, that sounds great. And they'll come. And then those people, of some of which you've got to have something else ready for what's the next step. And it might be, look, if something's been useful today, come to a discovery session and I'll talk about your relationship with you one-on-one and see if I can help diagnose a few issues and give you some solutions. Yeah. And a discovery session for me is always a free coaching session, like a standalone coaching session with no obligation. So that's something that I have always offered to everyone. And that's the decision stage. But come along, have a one-on-one with me, and at that point you can be in a better place to make a decision as to whether you actually want to work with me or you don't. Yeah. And if you can't afford to work with me, maybe there's something else I can suggest based on our conversation. Yeah. I had a conversation with the lady the other day, lovely lady, who wants to do a prac course, and I haven't got any prac course dates at the moment because my baby's too young, and she needed help deciding what prac course to do. So we spent her discovery session talking about which prac course she should do and analysing the different courses and how she could use it in her career. And I helped her and off she went. And it was a pleasure and an honour to do that. And I'm sure at some point she may come back and get something else. But you don't have to obsess about, getting the sale. If you get the relationship, that's okay as well. Yeah, that's okay. So does that make sense? 3 stages? So at every stage, you're going to need something. Yeah, a really good example. I love her, Kat Corroy. She's got it nailed, this funnel thing, and she's not awful as well. So she's not I'm not a big fan of click funnels, just because it's, when I've bought something before, like a $7 ebook or something, and then the next thing it's like, before you go, this is one opportunity to buy this. And then before you go, buy this as well. It's all a bit, whereas she's beautiful and elegant. So if you want a lovely model of someone who's actually lovely and caring, just like you, who does she's a marketer, obviously, but she does Instagram, that's her thing. She wants to help you with your Instagram. And she's absolutely fab. And I've followed her for ages. But once you're in her funnel, you'll see how beautifully elegant it is. So she's a really good model there. All right. So the funnel's designed to make your life easy. Creating a predictable number of clients, that's really important. If you've got a certain number of clients and you've worked out I need to do one webinar and I get this many clients at the end of it in some magical way. Then if you want double the number of clients, you try doing double the number of the things at the bottom. At that point, at that point, what you want to, I thought I wasn't recording. At that point, you want to start getting better at each stage. And that's where you might kind of think, actually, how do I get better at focusing on my target market? What is it that my clients really want, my potential clients really want from a free webinar? What do they really need? That's what I want to talk about, but is that what they actually need? And then you can say, right, well, in that webinar, how do I get better at moving them on to something else? So if I'm doing a relationship blueprint webinar, can I get better at the kind of helping them see what their problems are and helping them understand what the solution might be and how coaching might be able to help so that they actually want to come for a discovery session? And then we call that your conversion rates. For some of you, conversion rates, right? So that's your conversion rates. You want to get them good. You want to get them better. I'm almost a 1-for-1 on my discovery calls. So if somebody comes looking for a coach, if they're actively looking for a coach, I am very confident that if I want to work with them, they'll want to work with me. Like I'm a sort of almost 1-for-1. Yeah. I'm really confident about that because I know how to coaching to somebody. I've just done it long enough now and got really, really good at it that if you're in my space and you're thinking about coaching, I want to work with you and I want to help you. So I'm pretty good now. And that's week 10 and 11 of the group coaching course. I've put it all in there for you, but you've got to get better at your conversion. So did the webinar actually convert anybody to the next level? We call it lead magnet. We call it a lead magnet is the free thing that you give away to get people to join your mailing list or to do something. Yeah, it's called a lead magnet, obviously, because it magnetizes leads to you. It makes people go, oh, I'll join your email list to get that thing, that ebook or that recording of something. And if you know what your lead magnet is, then you want to make sure that that's a really good lead magnet. That's what people want. That's what's going to draw them in. It's going to draw the right people into you. You can give away free stuff, but is it the stuff that your target market really wants for free? So you got to get your lead magnet as well. And that's all at the awareness stage. I'm not going to go through this in massive details. We don't have time, but let's go through a quick example. So it might be that you choose what's everybody's least awful social media platform? What one do you dislike the least?
Insta.
Say again?
Instagram.
Oh, I love Instagram. Yes, I love Instagram. LinkedIn's good. Yeah. And again, it depends on where the people are showing up as well. So you could post on Instagram about corporate stuff. And obviously, if you're targeting, L&D people, just doom scrolling and then they find you, that's brilliant. But yes, you might find that LinkedIn's better for them. Facebook, yeah. And who just likes being in person? Who really struggles with that whole online thing? Social media, yeah. If you are an in-person person, then that's all I had when I started. I mean, I'm 47 now, and when I started, I was 27. I think I just had I think I might have had a Facebook account, but I'm not completely sure. And we certainly didn't have ads and target marketing back then, and not that I was aware of anyway. So literally I was meeting people and having to go to networking events. And to be honest with you, it's a very fast way of getting business because you're making connections really quickly because that's how people are supposed to make connections. It's a really nice way of doing it. So I know some people go to BNI, and I would say don't ever join any BNI as a coach. I don't necessarily think it's a great way to build a business, purely because if you go to British Networking Institute, where they meet for breakfast and do networking, but it's a sort of, there's one coach, there's one accountant, and they all the design is that you refer people to each other. That's the design, right? Which works. If you're an accountant, you're going to do somebody's accounts for the next sort of 20 years, hopefully, unless you mess up. Whereas a coach, they're going to refer you a client that might only last 6 to 12 weeks, and then you need another one. So you're at a massive disadvantage as a coach when you go to those sorts of group networking events where you're paying £500, £600 a year, but you'll need about 100 referrals, and everyone else only needs a few. Yeah. So it's you're at a disadvantage per head, as it were, per referral than everybody else in there. So here's my top tip. Most BNIs are brilliant, and usually they have people there who are clued into the community, to the local, because they're local, they like face to face. So go there as a coach, always, as long as you niche yourself a little bit more than just I'm a coach, because there might already be a coach in there that's very peeved that you're there. So you'll need to sort of say, well, this is what I do and it's different from anybody else. But if you go to the networking, you've got about 3 times before they kick you out, before they say, right, you've got to pay, you stay and pay or clear off. But you could go 3 times. Now, as a coach, experts in building rapport, are you telling me that 3 breakfasts with this fairly small group of people, you couldn't make connections that would last longer than those 3 sessions? Yeah. Go there, make your connections, make sure everybody knows who you are, what you do. Use the 30-second, introduction from the free trial. Use that, make sure everybody knows what you do, give out your business cards, go to the next one. Go to another BNI. There's chapters all over the place. Go to another one, 3 sessions, meet new people, get more stimulation. Tell another group of people what you do. Brilliant. Drop hints that you're happy to do free talks, because that might be useful. Because obviously they talk about what they do, but you could do a talk about sales, or you could do a talk about, rapport building or whatever that's quite useful, right? Not about getting business, just I'll help you get better, or I'll do some presentation skills for you, because they all have to do those, 10-minute presentations of what they do occasionally. So if you like local, if you like face-to-face, a million different ways that you can do it. Prolific is better than perfect. What's his name? James Corden. Brilliant example. Prolificness got him to where he is. Prolificness. He showed up on your TVs continuously, years, and suddenly he's got his own show in America. Now, yes, he is funny. He is good at what he does, but he was prolific, rather than perfect. You can't tell me his acting was sterling in Gavin and Stacey. No, he's like, Amy, you're laughing, but I'm telling the truth here. He was not the best actor, was he? Great writer, not the best actor. Yes. Hilarious, prolific. Imagine if he'd said, I'm a writer, I couldn't possibly go on the screen. But he did, because he's prolific and he got better and found his niche anyway. So the point is, you want to be prolific, not perfect. Get out there, wherever you are. In 6 months, you'll realise, how bad you are today, how good you are in 6 months. In another 6 months, you won't care. It'll be fine. So that's your funnel. Awareness, you can choose your LinkedIn, you can choose Facebook, you can go out to your local environment. There's loads of networking events, there's loads of community groups, there's loads of sports groups that always love a coach, right? What I wouldn't do is sit in your office and direct message people who you do not know and say, I'm a coach and I'll happily come and talk at your event. No, because they get 1,000 people offering, because they know that all you want to do is come there and capitalize on somebody else's hard work to get a group together and sell your stuff to them. That isn't how it's done. Yeah. You as coaches with big hearts and sharing, caring people, you are absolutely the best people to go out there and share and care and give away, meet people, give to them. They will give back. Yeah. Law of reciprocity, give first and people will give back to you. So don't go out there sort of saying, hey, I'll talk at your group, because they're used to people trying to parasitically, use their networking groups, even if you're not. So go out there, meet people, or meet people, in other ways via social media, give. And then when you know those people and they say, would you like to do a talk? Or I could do a talk if you like. Yeah. So you can direct message people, but don't worry if they say no or ghost you or ignore you, because it's just, there's no rapport there. Yeah. So as experts in rapport, get on the rapport building. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. So that's the awareness. And then you've got your how to get them on the hook with a lead magnet, with I'll send you this or come to my workshop. All right. Conversion rates I've talked about, improving your funnel. All right. Now here's the magic. Not a very sleight of hand magic, but there is magic here. All right. Now the sales funnel, obviously, hopefully, does it make a little bit more sense? The sales funnel, what I've said, like you need to let people know that you're there and move them through to the decision point. So you probably do need a free consultation or a discovery session or a free coaching session or some way they could talk to you one-on-one. How keen are you? Can you feel into how excited you are to sit down and design your funnel? Is it still a little bit like, makes more sense, but I don't really want to design it? It's still not fun. Anyone? How are you fixed? Does it make sense? Are you excited? It's okay if you're not excited. You're not supposed to be excited. It's inherently not exciting. Okay. However, did you like the pyramid? Did you like the idea of being able to give away something to everybody so that you didn't have to lower your prices, but also not turn people away because they couldn't afford you? You like that bit?
Yeah.
That feel a bit better? All right. Well, guess what happens when you turn the proximity pyramid upside down? You got a sales funnel, folks. You got a sales funnel. The only difference is that you set out with the value of giving and sharing and caring and offering and providing and teaching and educating and helping. And it was easier to figure out what you could give away for free, what you could give away. Yeah. If people couldn't afford it, just a slightly different value set. So there's your sales funnel. Makes sense? So I'm giving away all this free stuff to people who can't afford it. And all I have to do is make sure that it's for that woman I'm thinking of who's, you know, sitting out there tearing out her hair. She doesn't understand why a relationship is so bad, and her only way out is a divorce because she thinks, oh, my partner's not going to go to relationship counselling, so it's I'm stuck here. Nothing will help. Nothing can be done. Well, that's the post I'll write for her to say, don't worry, got you. Here's some stuff you'll need to understand about what's happening to you. Yeah, that's the free ebook that I'll give away to download on relationship dynamics. You know, figure out what, you know, how your relationship, or figure out your conflict style, figure out your partner's attachment styles. Yeah, that's the book I'll give away to help them. Maybe do a free course on figuring out blueprints and how they operate in your grown-up relationship. And then maybe, you know, if you can afford that, maybe come and do the group relationship program where I'll take you through, you know, how to build skills in your relationship, build emotional intimacy, maybe some tools to start working through some of the wounds that you have, maybe some tapping, maybe some NLP. And then if you can afford it and you really want to, come work to me one-on-one. Yeah. Feels different, doesn't it?
Yes, have you frozen?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought it was my screen.
It's just not you. You're not used to me pausing for so long, Amy. I love that you know me so well to be worried. She's on speed dial. She's frozen.
Hilarious.
I don't blame you. So I was just reading out what to do, choosing what to do next while my auditory digital people processed what I've said. All right. So let's take some questions and some individual situations. Let me help you. Yeah, let me help you. The whole point of today was to create a steady stream of clients. And obviously, I think let me put that picture in the chat for you so you can open it and have it open on your computer while I'm talking. Okay, put it upside down, but you can turn it around. Okay. All right. So, I'll tell you what I'll do. All right. So my advice is always to go through this process. I'll give you the steps of the process and then it will help you. You've obviously got the proximity pyramid and the sales funnel. But again, the sales funnel is kind of like, you really just think about the proximity pyramid first, turn it upside down. You do need to help you do the proximity pyramid. It will help you to think about what you're actually trying to achieve in your business. Yeah. Because the worst thing that you can do is, and I've coached so many people on this, that is they're kind of like, well, I kind of could make money from that. You know, well, I could probably make money from that. And they start off by thinking what's going to be lucrative rather than what they want to do. Now, I've no doubt that I could make money training all over the world, but I don't want to do that right now. So I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to start by thinking, well, what's going to make me the most money? I'll do that. What do I want to do? And therefore, what brings me joy? And how would my way of working bring me joy? So you really do need to think about, how much do you want to work? You know, how many days a week do you want to work? The balance between you and your family. You know, what does your day look like? Honestly, what does your day look like? And where does coaching and all these other things that you want to share with people in your gifts, where's that come in? And how does that fit? So no, I don't want to train around the world at the moment because I want to be there for my little girl and my little boy at home where they are. So it means that what's joyful for me is coaching, let's say, and virtual workshops and so on. And then drill down to, okay, and then who are the people that you're working with? What are you actually doing for those people that you enjoy? Not, well, I suppose I could do this because those people need that and that's would make money. It's, what do you like doing? Yeah. If you like coaching outdoors, but you think there's more money in coaching indoors, but you don't want to coach indoors, then don't coach indoors. Go back to the job that you used to have that you didn't enjoy and do that. Like, the reason that you're employed, you know, self-employed as a coach is because you want to do it. So don't make compromises right from the off. Start off with, what do you enjoy? I promise that if you are joyful in what you're doing, you will make money at it. You will. There will be a market for what you do. You know, like I said, Gabor was 55. He was doing all sorts of things before he was 55 that were building his skill sets, and, you know, he was doing what he wasn't happy in his job necessarily. And he just looks like he's in his element now. Like, he just looks like he's found himself, right? If he'd done that at the beginning, what actually brings me joy, he might have got there a bit sooner. Arguably, he's collected all his experience as a line 6 in human design. Oh, human design, that was the other thing. But still, what brings you joy, and the balance with your family. Niche is about, consider this. You don't have to niche. I didn't niche. I was a generalist for years, absolute years. And it's really hard to know what you do want to do until you've had enough experience at all kinds of things to know that that was nice and that wasn't nice. And I like working with those types of people, and I don't really like working with those types of people. Yeah. It really helps me because I've got Nick, and Nick is so different to me that it's easier to compare. So I kind of think about the clients that he works with, and I think, gosh, they're absolutely right for him because he can do that with people. And I really struggle with that. I prefer this type of way of working. And so even in a discovery session, I'm thinking sometimes, oh God, Nick would be so perfect for you. And he's thinking sometimes, oh, Jess would be so perfect for you, because we're so different. And I can see that we're different. And he's like, yeah, we call him the last resort coach now, because he's like crisis management. He's brilliant. So what's your niche? What's your magical elixir? If you don't want to niche to a particular subject and you're just, I'll take anyone, I'll take anyone who wants help. Great. What's your special magical elixir?
Yes, can I ask a question?
Of course.
It's Maggie here. I'm just thinking, I think there's a bit of clash in me at the moment. It's like the type of clients I'm attracting is different to the clients I would like to coach.
Right.
So it's like kind of like a natural kind of like magnet for certain people with condition. But I think me kind of like coming out of it, I think myself, I'm kind of like desire to work with other clients. Yeah. So I'm not so sure whom to choose.
Okay, so yeah, so if there's a market already there at your door, banging on your door, then you might want to sort of think about, okay, so what if I don't want to necessarily do one-to-ones with that market, but it's a market that I'm sort of falling over, then what could you offer them instead that would still be able to share gifts and help and you know, products with them, but not use up your time that you want to spend with other people? So it could be you take all the expertise that you've gained working with that type of person, wrap it up into a mini course, into a recorded workshop or whatever, and then that's its own sort of funnel on its own. Yeah. So you're just selling, like, I don't do one-to-ones in that anymore, but if you want it, and then you'll find that out in your discovery session. It sounds like what you need is this. Why don't you try that first and then see if that helps.
Brilliant, thank you.
And then look at your marketing. Again, look at your megaphone, the streets that you're walking down, telling everybody that you exist. What are you saying, and who are you saying it to? That needs to change if you want the type of people showing up to change. Now look, I'm very much quantum, universe here. Yes, you always get clients come to you that reflect where you're at as well. So when I was literally, I think just as I was, nearing 40, thinking about getting pregnant, I was inundated with women nearly 40, desperate to get pregnant and find a partner, right? It just seems to be, the universe's way of mirroring you. I love it, because when you hear yourself give advice to the 10th person, right, that's brilliant advice, the 11th time is when you take it and you think, actually, yeah, that's really good advice, I'm going to do that. So it's a lovely way of sort of self-therapy and self-development. If you're a good coach and you just see the person and the coaching comes through you can't help but kind of do your own personal development off the back of it. So the quantum universe will kind of send you some things like a mirror sometimes to say, hey, this is what you're ready for. And similarly, you know, there are some things that you've only just perhaps worked through in your life, and you're not really ready to go back into the, you know, to the, what do they call it, into the pit with people, you know, into the zone of that energy, because you're still a little bit unset. You know, you need to kind of finish your transition from where you were to where you are before you start going helping people who are there. And that's fine as well. You work with whoever you want to work with. It just might mean you need to change your megaphone a little bit, where you're talking, who you're talking to, what you're talking about, to let those people know you exist. But you can do two simultaneously. Let the existing people coming to you run its course whilst you focus your energy and time in a different direction. Oh, awesome. Any other questions? So I appreciate I was just going to go through your niche, your magical elixir. Oh yes, you asked me a question in the chat. Sorry, apologies. Go on.
When we spoke, you were saying about putting things onto YouTube, and I suddenly realised, as I did a small Insta thingy yesterday and doing a bit of tapping, how really sensible it would have been if I had videoed it rather than doing it directly on Instagram and stuck it on YouTube so it was available to everybody. Ergo, the question is, how easy is it to set up a YouTube channel? I am not entirely a techno-Luddite, but I am not brilliant at reading instructions, and I just wanted to find out, how easy is it to do it, or do I need to get somebody to help me?
All right. Now, what I have learnt in my little community of beautiful coaches is that you rarely need to pay anybody to do anything.
You have no idea. I managed once to delete an entire page of my website.
Oh, deleting it's fine. You just got to know how to get it back.
Oh, I couldn't.
No, I don't think I'm logged in. Am I logged in? Have a look. No, not sign in. Okay, so let's see where we do create well, you would go to YouTube. Now, here's something that I think is really, really useful. Have you got ChatGPT?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't use as much as I perhaps ought.
Okay. Now, does it let me? I don't want to sign in because I don't want to be me. Create account. There you go. For my personal use or for my work or business. Okay. Gmail again. Okay. Professional workspace. I'll just do a personal one. Yeah.
I was going to say the same as Mika, actually. I think, ironically, I think YouTube probably has a demo of how to set up a YouTube.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so that's fine. So it's long ago.
It would be really silly of them not to, really, wouldn't it?
So if you've already got a Google account, then what I'm guessing is that in one of those little blocks, there's already a YouTube block in there, Lucinda. So go there. I don't need to show you. Go to your Google space that you showed me yesterday. You know, the little blocks, and you said one of them's...
Yes. Yeah,
so one of them would be YouTube. It's already there.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Okay.
So it'll all be there. And then... Yes. There you go. And from what I'm understanding, if you can create a channel, which is what you really want, is a channel,
yep,
and then upload a video, and then pretty much it's sort of self-explanatory. You could set the videos to private if you don't want anybody to see them, or unlisted, you know, so that you can just play around for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
If in doubt, this is why I would say having people around you, because I want you to, I mean, you know, full disclosure, I want you all to do my group coaching program because I want to help you, and, you know, love it. I want to help you find your niche, because there's nothing more exciting than finding what your name is. I think Sophie's had to drop off, but, you know, there's like the self-worth witch, you know, like we have these like fun names for like to help you find what it is that you love, or, you know, there's just so much. Yeah, there's nothing more fun, right, than helping. So anyway, yes, I want, and if you join that, you've got those other people there to say, how the hell do I set up a YouTube channel? And then either I will help, or someone else in the group will say, oh, do it this way, that's easy. There's always a tech, you know, there's a tech wizard. We've got one in the group at the moment. All right. Oh, that's the free trial. All right. So this is the app that you get, by the way. If you do the group coaching program, this is the app that you get. And the app basically is where you have all the programs ready to go. You got your questionnaires, your videos. You've got the videos start quite small, and then this is the free trial. There's the full one. There we go. Okay. And then they start getting a little bit longer, because there's more to do, and there's usually a transcript with it as well, so you can read it or watch it. And obviously everything that you could possibly ever need to know is going to be covered on there. So how to create your packages, what a sales funnel is, obviously we've kind of just covered, but also how to fill it in. with ChatGPT now, you should have no problems getting started with content. You're still going to need to use your magical elixir and expertise. But if like me, I love somebody giving me something I can then go, not quite, and work from it, or something that gives me enough of idea that I can write it from scratch myself and then have some ChatGPT summarize it or condense it or check spelling mistakes or whatever it is. So if you do the group program, you definitely get the free ChatGPT coaches webinar and ebook as well. So you get that because you know, it's just so brilliant. Nothing relies on it, but the prompts are all there for you. So at the end of one of the videos on here, there's a prompt. On every video, there's prompts for ChatGPT. So actions for the week, and then also probably the ChatGPT prompts that you can use to help you as well. So each week, set of actions to take, given on what I've talked about, and then the ChatGPT prompts to use if you want to. And then there's a PDF to cover that as well. Everything that you could possibly need in there as well, including how to create a 90-minute workshop or whatever it is that you want to sell, or kind of do for your clients. So just to sell you on this a little bit, because I do want you to do it. Here's the free trial, by the way. If you go to the website, the free trial is on there. You'll see it on there. Step 1, the welcome video. There's a questionnaire, extensive questionnaire to help really get your thoughts going on it, helping you sort your vision out, like as in what you want for your business, resources for creating a vision, all the webinars that you could need to stimulate your inspiration. The hero's journey is really good. And then finding your niche is on here. Again, takes you through niche, and there's the 30-second sales pitch. So you can sign up for that on reed-robbins.com on the on-demand programs. It's a free trial. Absolutely recommend finding your niche. Like I was saying before, the magical elixir that just makes you different. When you find what that is, oh my God, it gives you so much confidence. Because let me help one of you find it right now. We've got 5 minutes. Let me help you. Who wants to
Me.
You. I love you, listener. You are so fabulous. Okay, let me spotlight you. I was thinking about this yesterday, that I wanted a chance to talk to you about your magical elixir. All right. Okay. So tell me, when you were a kid, did you used to sit and kind of have an activity that you used to do, even with no adults paying attention to it? Did you used to draw pictures of horses like I did extensively? Did you used to make things, draw things, do little dances?
I tried to pretend to be a ballerina with no point shoes. So there was that. And I remember being given a Meccano set. So I used to make lots of stuff with Meccano.
Well, that's diverse. Super diverse.
My mother was never interactive with children, so it was do it yourself. And so going out and doing, I found on my own was tricky. So it was very much whatever was going on at home, and I was at boarding school, so that took up quite a lot of my time.
Right.
Singing I enjoyed when I was at school, and dancing.
Singing and dancing. And what did you enjoy about the dancing? About pretending to be a ballerina. What was lovely about it?
I think it was just an idea of freedom and expression. I don't know. The idea, and I always thought for many moons, if I ever was reborn, I could be gifted with a perfect memory, I would be born again and I'd be a singer and a dancer.
Brilliant. And what would you love about doing that? What's
music? I love the expression. The expression of music and dance is just fantastic.
As in the end result, or the feeling of doing it?
Both. It gives. I go and experience it, and it fills me with such joy.
Lovely. Okay. And today, as a grown, or through your life, has expression been very important to you?
Expression.
Yes.
I don't. I think is the answer. I have rarely had the avenue to do it. I know that what I do is I allow people to express themselves. So I think that's part of what I do for other people, is allow them.
You're frozen, or is it me?
I'm moving. I think it might be you. I can see other.
You're still moving and talking, Lucinda.
Okay. It
That
says
may
my
be boring and ghastly.
I can hear my neighbour's mowing his lawn and my internet stable becomes unstable. This is Devon for you.
It was interesting because I went to see my client yesterday that we spoke about, and I allowed him to talk for 3/4 of his session. And suddenly in the last 15 minutes, we had a breakthrough aha moment. And he said, I don't need to see you anymore. What do I do with my last 2 sessions? I said, put them in the bank and use them when you need them.
Lovely. So for you as a child, when obviously we're at our most clear, when we're at our most sort of new and our most original form, let's just say, and natural form, and there's no adult influences over what we're choosing, and we can just choose for ourselves. This is a really good hint at what's in us when we sort of come here.
That young, do you know what? I really don't remember. I don't remember. I remember having a nanny who was wonderful. I don't remember my parents at all.
And what was wonderful about your nanny? Why was she wonderful?
She was loving and kind and caring.
Great. So loving, kind and caring at a young age, you've learned firsthand how important that is. You also learned about how expressing yourself, allowing your true self, whether it's through dance, through, voice and singing, but expressing yourself is really, really important.
Yeah.
So as a human being, when you came, when you started on this planet, you came here with a few sort of lessons to learn, but also some really instilled things already. Yeah. Nobody had to teach you to love doing that. You just loved doing it.
Yeah.
So there's some of the hints around what's going to be the sort of base of your magical elixir with clients. So that understanding of how important being able to express yourself is, and the freedom that you get, and how important it is. And that in the times in your life where you've not been able to express yourself, those have been perhaps the hardest times. And the gift that you're giving other people is that, you can express yourself with me, and you can have that freedom and find that expression, that freedom of expression, at least me, but perhaps more generally in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when it would come across with you, no matter what content you were coaching on, wouldn't it? If you were coaching somebody on their career, coaching somebody on, emotional problems, giving them a space to express themselves fully.
I would hope so. Sometimes the feedback coming the other way is how you tell, really. But yes, I would like to think so. Yeah.
Right. Now, if you were going to renovate a house, what type of house would you choose to renovate? Would it be a total fixer-upper? Would it be, absolute, trashed kind of situation? Or would it be about something that was sort of good, solid, that was, just need a bit of work?
Good, mostly because I was married to a builder and it ended in disaster. So the idea of having to negotiate builders is my worst nightmare. If I didn't have to negotiate the builders, I would probably do a not trashed house, but stuff that you could really reform and remake. Otherwise, it's imprinting one's own.
Right. And how would you choose how would you know you'd found the right property to renovate?
Because when you walk in, I used to do up houses. When you walk in through the front door, it says, hello, how are you? Come and live here.
Lovely. So there's a feeling.
Yeah, always.
And it's about you living there, or is it about the potential that you could?
No, it's about you living here. It says, come in, welcome. You can look at 6 houses and they can all be exactly the same, but the energy in each house will be different.
Lovely. And sort of you've got that intuition to know what's the right one. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were a property renovator, then that's what you would bring to property renovation, would be intuition, would be a sense of, I know which house is going to be good. And if you were doing that for someone else, if I said, would you come and help me? Because I need to find a property that's I can renovate, not extensive, but I need to find the right one.
Absolutely.
Would you help me do that?
Yeah, because I'd help you work out how it felt for you.
Lovely. Okay, good. So already you're starting to see, and hopefully everybody else listening could kind of hear the same things, that there's some things that you do naturally, that it wouldn't matter what you were doing. There are some things that you do naturally. Yeah. That's special to you. Because some people are like, no, I want to get in there, bulldoze it and do that and totally tear it apart and make it my own. Or, oh no, I just want to see something that I believe has potential. And for you, it's I'll help you. I'll help you find what's right for you based on what you tell me and how it feels. Yeah.
When I did up people's houses, my ethos was, you live here, I don't.
Yes.
Your design, your desire is what is of ultimate importance. I will guide.
Yes. Lovely.
But your final decision is the one that has to be the one that goes, that's the thumbprint.
Lovely. So same with coaching. Yeah. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to guide you.
Yeah.
To be where you want to be. So already we've got a couple of ethoses. We've got a sense of the type of coach. Has everybody got a sense of the type of coaching you'd get from Lucinda? Somebody who's learned the importance of kindness and love and care. Yeah. Somebody who knows how important it is and how wonderful it feels to be able to express yourself. Yeah. And also somebody who will help you, guide you to what you want and not what you should have, but what you want, and help you feel into that and get the right thing for you. You can see where these sorts of conversations lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting to know you. And what's lovely is there'll be one question that you get asked, which makes you kind of go, oh my God, that is me, isn't it? That is what I do. That's what I do everywhere. I do that wherever I go. I do that with all my friends. Oh my God. I do that when, I do that with my dog. Oh my God. That's what I do. And when you find that, that's your thing. So
yeah.
if you were a bin man, you'd be the bin man, you'd be the dancing bin man, you'd be the dancing bin man. There are just, think of all these different places that you've been in your life, what you've brought to each thing. I've always been a mediator. That's my thing. Yeah, I can see both sides of everything. So even when I was working in IT, I had the IT people who I understood, and I had the project manager people that I understood, and I was always the go-between. I was always the person that they asked, like, could you tell those people over there what to do? And can you ask them this question, then translate it for me? I was like, yeah, sure. I always understood everybody's point of view. So I always was the mediator. I was a mediator at home. I couldn't understand why we were so rotten to each other. It was, I could just see everybody's side. And as a relationship coach, it's a real win to be able to see, have the compassion that perhaps the partners are missing. Yeah. And to be able to have that a bit, I know that that's what I do. So for you, Lucinda, it's asking more of those sorts of questions. Does that start to help a little bit?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I see you very much. And the other thing as well, there's the mirror to hold up, is that when we spoke yesterday, it was your session, and yet immediately, instinctively, you started asking questions about me and seemed really pleased to talk to me and made me feel really warm and comfortable and cared for. And it was effortless on your part. I literally had to kind of like force you to have the coaching, to actually talk about your stuff, because you were so generous. And I think that wasn't forced. It was, do you know what I mean? It was the epitome. It was just, you are just so caring and loving, and you really wanted to connect. So that's special. That's really lovely. And that's why I want you to be really successful. I want you to be in front of those clients instead of, perhaps people that are slightly less scrupulous and not as loving and warm, because ultimately, was it Gabor Maté said the other day, the research has shown it's not the therapy, it's the therapist. It's the connection with the therapist that creates healing.
There is that saying, isn't it? It's not what you say, it's who says it.
Yeah, the singer, not the song.
Yeah, because it's that connect people by people. So, there can be 10 of me and we'll all have a different energy, and it's the one that links with that energy best. And then so you learn from and you get on with that person, rather necessarily than that person being the most expert at the job.
That's it. And so for those of you that are worried that the market is saturated with coaches, forget it. It's not, because there are, 9 billion people or whatever, but there's only one of you. And everything that you say comes through your voice and your experience, and therefore there is a section of people that, try as they might, they can't like Tony Robbins. There'll be a few people that, try as they might, they just can't get on with Gabor Maté. So there is, and yet both extremely great healers, you could say, and coaches and therapists, but there's not, you can't like everybody. So there is someone out there who is just needing your voice and your way of being to help to get through to them. So market's not saturated, not of you, it's not. And we need you, and there are enough people to go around. That's the other thing, is that when you really comes down to it, you don't need millions of followers to make a living. Right? You really don't. And there's enough people who don't have a coach yet who would really like one, but have never been inclined to find the right person. So
it's persuading them that they need, and it's finding that way of persuading them that actually looking after themselves before they look after other people is actually the way to go. It's the, it's the gas mask. No, sorry, not gas mask. The oxygen mask on the airplane.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is how to talk to those people, and you have to talk about the problem and not the solutions, because we're positive people, so we always want to say about, do you want to have an amazing life, do you want to feel great and feel free and express yourself? And most of the clients that we're talking to, they're not there yet. They're more going to resonate if you talk about, are you struggling with the day-to-day? Do you find that you're feeling trapped and sad? And that's what's going to make people kind of go, yeah. And they don't even know what the cause of the problem is, so there's no point you talking about that. Even if you say, talking about menopause, for example, if you talk about the menopause, loads of people are going to go, I don't know if that's relevant to me. But if you say, have you suddenly experienced a problem in your relationship after 20 years of being fine? Have you suddenly felt this way? Have you suddenly felt self-sabotaging your life or whatever it is? Well, have you considered that it might be this? And starting to talk to people about the problem, and then motivating them to put themselves first. But that's going to be your market, perhaps, Lucinda. It's somebody who's not putting themselves first, because you can speak to them about that.
Yeah.
Because you might have empathy for that. Yeah. Whereas there's a whole bunch of people that assume you would put yourself first and have no empathy for why would you not put yourself first? Yeah.
You are one. Thank you, sweetie, very much indeed.
My pleasure. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. Who's going to join me? I think Scarlett, were you going to join me on the group program?
Well, yes, I'd really like to. I've just got to work out some finances because I've booked a bucket list sort of holiday.
Okay.
I was manifesting from when we did the prac for the master prac.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. So I just need to sort out some finances.
Okay. Well, I do payment plans for the program. So if you work out what's affordable per month, then we can do that as well. So that's not a problem. What I would say is I really want people to join this program because it is like 50% off. It is really low priced. And once I fill this program, I probably will increase the price. And especially because the mastery program's got so much stuff in it, what I'm probably going to do is start breaking that down into smaller chunks and sell those at slightly higher rate. So it will be the last time that I'm going to do the.
Can you put the link in the chat here so I can copy and paste it, please?
For the group program?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please. Maybe.
See if I can find it. If my tech's working.
Well, you could put it in your letter.
Oh, yeah.
You could do that instead.
I will do. Yes.
And then we all have it.
Yeah. Has anybody got any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. Maggie here. Jess, I wanted to do the Friday one. Is it certain that it's going ahead? Because I need to know how much time I have for all the prep and the homework and stuff like this.
Yeah. So the Friday 28th, I've got literally, I think, 3 spaces left on that one. So that one's going ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and all that kind of like trial things, that the 3 things that you told us about, that expected to complete before it starts, right?
No, last time I expected people to complete stuff before they started, and as usual, nobody did. So we had a pre-work that didn't get done, that then became week 1. So an 11-week course became a 12-week course.
I see.
No,
okay.
We start together as per usual. There's no point starting all higgledy-piggledy. We just start at week 1. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I have to go. I'm so sorry.
Awesome.
I would love to join you. I can't do that now until later or tomorrow. But I want to thank you so much for everything today, because it's been wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
You've been very generous as always.
Thank you. Well, it's lovely to talk to you. And I will, yes, inevitably, I will see you all at some point on the evenings and so on. But yeah, I'll stay behind for a couple of minutes in case anyone's got any questions. Otherwise, I will send everything to you and see you then. See you soon.
Brilliant again, Jess. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Catch up soon. Bye.